Tim, this is Philip, and if we haven't met you before, we are part of the LiNX team here in Torbay, and it is really great if you are watching this in your churches or in your home groups or wherever you might be watching this. It's great to be connecting with you again this term. We thought for a bit of a different thing rather than a total overview, even though our schools work continues, the lessons continue, different groups continue, we wanted to focus in this week on something that we mentioned last term, something that we mentioned in our newsletter as well, looking at mentoring. Now, just yesterday, a group called Young Minds UK, a really great group of people that do loads of research and think about mental health, especially for young people. They said yesterday this statistic that last year, up to April 2021, there's been a 134% increase from the previous year in under 18-year-olds being referred to mental health services, which looks like currently being 374,000 under 18-year-olds on the waiting list for NHS mental health care. And as they put, this is an emergency. Something that we feel really passionate about, something that we believe fulfills what LiNX is about reaching young people with the good news of Jesus, is helping them with their emotional health and their well-being. Which is why I have Philip with me, as he is massively involved in that world. There's loads of reading, training, all sorts of stuff. So Philip, this is where it's kind of over to you, but those things that I've just been saying, that statistic, what's that look like for you in terms of your school's work over the last, 5 years, 10 years? Have you seen that shift? What's that look like for you?
Yeah, I have seen the shift. And it has been something that we've seen coming. I mean, I can look back 6 years ago, and one of the heads of year sort of grabbed me and said, what are we going to do about mental health? And that started a conversation really that we felt that as a schools work organisation, we had to have a real understanding, and that sent me on some training courses, and various other people now have done various bits of training, and we've kind of tried to pull all our resources together and develop resources as a team, which has been absolutely great to do. And we've had, the time to do that has been amazing. So we saw this coming to a point, but nobody anticipated COVID, and what that was going to add to this. And oh my goodness, it has added to this. I mean, it has taken something that was already, people were already using the word crisis. I mean, 5-6 years ago, and it has just catapulted it into a crisis. The honest truth is that for me, at the moment, schools, which I've known schools for, my whole life. My whole working life, and even previous to that, as a young person, I have known schools my whole life. And the reality is, I know schools, but at the moment, schools feel like a different country. They feel like a different country. The actual atmosphere of the school feels very different. The conversations I have with young people feel different. The mentoring that I do with young people, which has been going on now for a good 5 years, where we actually sit down and engage with young people, and we ask them about their struggles and the ups and downs of life. In a way, the ups are sort of few and far between sometimes, but the downs are so much further down than what we were experiencing before. The needs are greater. The sense of urgency is greater. The sense of desperation is greater. I work with boys and girls, but a lot of my work historically has been with boys, and I often used to see one of two responses. So a boy would come to me, and I'd introduce myself and explain I was to help them with their struggles, and they would have no engagement for the first initial meeting, and then I would use ways to get them to engage, but it could take a little while. The other response, which I've always had sometimes, but was a rarity, was somebody who would just offload. At the moment somebody sat in front of them who will listen to them and engage with them, it pours out. And the reality is, that's the more common response now, but the need is just so much greater, and the sense of desperation and almost sort of like that it almost feels overwhelming sometimes. That's the honest truth.
I think what's been interesting is seeing as well how it's not necessarily for us. We've found it's not just been one-to-one mentoring, but small groups as well has been quite a powerful way to help young people, I guess, articulate some of their stuff together.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure some of you have found that sometimes it's hard to talk about things, and other times when you find a group of like-minded people that maybe you didn't realise were like-minded, suddenly something clicks and you're able to talk about stuff. And it's been cool seeing that happen in schools as well over the last few years with small groups. Do you have anything to...
Yeah, I mean, small groups, I do. And small groups is a great example, really, as a sort of barometer of how things have changed. I mean, so we've been running various small groups. So we do the Transform small group, which is a sort of general look at life. And we do cover topics like self-esteem, but it's a very general one. Yeah. And then we do some more directed stuff on sleep and anxiety and things like that. But let's take Transform, which is, when we put it together, it was... always intended to be a group there was some fun, and then there was some reflection. There was some fun, there was some reflection, and it would sort of bounce around like this. But ultimately, it was probably more fun than anything else.
Quite light-hearted.
It was light-hearted, and we still intend it to be light-hearted. But sometimes it's quite hard to get to that point of lightheartedness because, again, it's the sense that we need help now, and it can be really difficult to stage manage that in a group of 6 to 8 young people who all turn up with a lot of competing needs, and Transform is still brilliant. I've got nothing. I still want to run it, but we. It takes a lot of thought now on how we stage manage that, whereas before it used to roll along, the fun and the reflection would all work a lot easier. But it's very powerful. It's very powerful to have a group of young people who, in the end, when it works well, and most of the time this is the end result, that they somehow form themselves that little support network. Do you find that? I love that. That's one of my favourite things.
To check in with each other.
Absolutely, which is amazing. And I don't think it would have happened, without us giving them that framework. So I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. So trying to sort of, bring you guys into this, one of the things that we talked a lot about recently, we have mentioned already on our last virtual church visit and in our last couple of newsletters, is this idea of recruiting some of you guys into some of this work. Like Philip said, the demand is really great in schools. And for some young people, literally all they need is someone just to check in with them every now and again. It's not, we're not counsellors, we're not therapists. We are youth workers at the heart of us, and we have lots of wealth of training and all these different things and resources. But ultimately, we really believe in being present with people. That's what God has given us the opportunity to do. And we'd love to invite some of you guys to join us in that. Philip, why don't you tell these guys a little bit about what that might look like?
Brilliant, yeah. So we've already got this quite well-tested and well-tried material, a lot of it. We've had to adapt slightly, but one of the things that we have been running for a few years is peer mentoring training, which is training up year 10s to listen to year 7s.
So year 10s are 15-year-olds?
Yes. And then listening to 11, 12-year-olds. And that training, as things do, has sort of been developed and worked on and got to the best point we can get it. So it wasn't a huge leap to then say, okay, well, how do we adapt that basic framework so that adults who are coming at this, with their different experiences and background, we can then train them up. And as Tim says, the amount of resources we have is extraordinary. One of the incredible things that we have is, each worker that comes in brings different ideas, and then we work together. And this is really one of the sort of the beauties of what we do. We're quite different individuals, and yet we all bring a huge amount of different gifts. And the resources that we've developed over the years are really second to none. So what we're offering is great training. I know it's great training because I've delivered it with young people, and I know it will be great with adults. Amazing resources, which every single one of the team has inputted, has used. We know this stuff works, and we know it works over and over again because when we work with young people in the schools and we use all the same ideas and materials, we know that there is progress with these young people, that some of their struggles, they find ways to respond to them. So what we're offering is actually quite a big deal, a really solid piece of really well-developed training and incredible resources that are all being offered for free, really, and support and ongoing support of people who have been doing this stuff for many years now. So that ongoing support as well is massive. I mean, this is an incredible opportunity actually for people. And for the young people.
Absolutely. I get really excited by the thought of some of yourselves from churches across Torbay joining us across schools, reaching and supporting young people. Being the church in the school community. You might hardly ever get to talk about your faith, maybe even never, but you get to demonstrate the goodness of God for those young people, being present in the school community, supporting that young person, maybe a couple of young people each week, and showing, how much they are cared for, how much they're valued. Philip, what would you say to anyone watching that feels like that sounds great, but I don't think that I couldn't do that? What would you say to that?
So when I work with groups they are chosen, the year 10s are sort of handpicked, and a lot of times people don't think they have what is needed, but the reality is that because it's such a personal relationship, people do have what's needed. It has to be trained and found. Even things like empathy, which are developed skills, they are practice skills. One of the things I will talk about in the course is how you then go and practice that, because I don't think the course itself is on its own enough unless people take it seriously and really spend time themselves developing some of these things. But ultimately, it's heart more than anything else. It's heart, it's engagement, it's love. This is the Holy Spirit. I believe is in this whole thing. And I would want people to have some basic sort of heart for young people. I think that's really really important. But we are going to develop and help people develop the skill set that's needed. And so it's a process. It's a training. Not everyone who does the peer mentoring finishes the training and settles themselves and finds themselves ready to do the face-to-face mentoring. And I guess we will always have that in this as well. But it's a conversation. It's a thing that people will learn and develop.
Yeah, and I think as much as we believe in the resources that we've got, we believe in the training that we've developed, it's not a one-size-fits-all process. So for any of you that want to be involved, it might be one conversation, do the training, see young people. It might be 2 or 3 conversations, do the training, still not sure, have a bit more training, have another conversation, then see young people. We want to make it work the best for you and the best for the young people. At the end of the day, we want to make sure we do a great job as LiNX, that we serve the schools the best we can, and we represent the church the best we can as well. So all those things are in our thinking as we come at this, but we'd love to invite you, if you're interested. I think the email that would be best to contact would be transform@linxyouth.net. send us an email and we will send you loads more information. And I think there'll probably be a link somewhere, maybe here or there. Who knows? Matt always likes to surprise us. But thank you so much for listening. We hope that's been helpful and informative. And from LiNX, have a great week.
Hopefully you found the conversation between Tim and Philip informative. A glimpse into the work of our Transform Mentoring programme and the important role that it plays in LiNX supporting young people in Torbay schools. If you'd like more information about the Volunteer Mentoring Training Programme, then as Tim said, drop us an email on transform@linxyouth.net and somebody will be in touch with more information. For more general information about the work at LiNX, you can find details on our website, and if you go to www.linxyouth.net/resources, there you'll find all our printed media, including our termly newsletter, this is our spring one, and our monthly prayer update. If you'd like the newsletter or the prayer update delivered directly to you, please drop us an email to info@linxyouth.net and we'll add you to our mailing list. We'd like to say a huge thank you to all our supporters and churches that are continuing to pray for us and support us financially. And if you'd like to give to the work of LiNX right now, texting this number will donate £5 to the work of LiNX through your mobile phone. Also, if you've enjoyed watching this video and you would like a member of the team to attend a physical church service or even one through Zoom or other kind of internet provider, then do let us know. Again, drop us an email to the office, give us a ring, and we'd love to be able to come and see you guys really soon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and like I say, hopefully we'll see you soon.